Ryan Hurst scored a career touchdown with Remember the Titans, and he hasn't stopped since. From manifesting roles for himself to yoga enlightenment, here's what Hurst looks like now. For Ryan Hurst, acting is the family business. His father, Rick Hurst, had a television career that started in the 1970s. Rick started out with small roles in shows including Sanford & Son, The Partridge Family, The Doris Day Show, Happy Days, Gunsmoke, and The Bob Newhart Show. Soon after, he landed his breakout role as Deputy Cletus Hogg on The Dukes of Hazzard. When asked by 411 Mania if the show affected his work life, Rick responded, "Tremendously, probably almost as much as going to the moon affected Neil Armstrong's career." After that, the elder Hurst went on to book roles in films like The Karate Kid Part 3 and Steel Magnolias. In the years that followed, Rick also reprised his role as Deputy Hogg in the TV movies The Dukes of Hazzard Reunion and The Dukes of Hazzard: Hazard in Hollywood. While some actors land their dream roles by chance, Ryan Hurst was quite certain that he was meant to play a football player on screen months before Remember the Titans started holding auditions. By then, the actor had already built up quite an acting resume, having played a serviceman in both Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan and William Friedkin's Rules of Engagement. Hurst also joined Robin Williams in Patch Adams, in which he played one of the doctor's patients. After working on these films, Hurst apparently knew he was destined for some high school football action next. Why? Because he had seen it in his dreams. He told GQ, "I had this recurring dream that I was on a football field running with a football, and then I ran up to the stands and I pointed at this black man standing in the stands and he pointed back to me." The vision was so compelling that Hurst wrote a letter to Remember the Titans director Boaz Yakin, explaining that he was meant to be in the semi-biographical Disney sports drama. Later on, when the film premiered at the Rose Bowl, Hurst saw co-star Wood Harris from across the room, and it happened. The two stars pointed at each other. As Hurst recalled, "It was one of the most otherworldly experiences of my entire life."
Left side. Strong side.
As one of the main stars of Remember the Titans, Ryan Hurst had more work to do than most of the other actors playing football players in the cast. Despite this, the actor couldn't pass up on the chance to do some filmmaking of his own while he was on set. In his GQ interview, Hurst revealed that he showed some of his short films to director Boaz Yakin while they were filming. Then one day, Yakin came up to him and offered him another job. Hurst recalled, he goes, "One piece of stage direction says montage of team winning. He says, I don't have the time to do this. Do you want to do it?" When Hurst agreed, Yakin proceeded to give him a producer and a budget. Other than that, the actor had creative freedom over the entire sequence. Since working on the montage sequence for the movie, though, it doesn't seem like Hurst has written or directed any other released projects. Just as Gary Bertier and Julius Campbell formed a friendship while playing for the Titans together, Ryan Hurst and his co-star Wood Harris also bonded on the set of the Disney movie. The men became fast friends the moment they met, which helped them portray their characters' on-screen relationship more convincingly. Hurst revealed, "There was a soul contract that was made between the two of us while we were shooting that movie."
Let me ask you something, Mr. Campbell. What kind of power you got?
Oh, man, you know I got some soul power.
Since filming Remember the Titans, Hurst and Harris have yet to work on another project together, but they've kept in touch over the years despite their busy schedules. Hurst added, "There's nobody on this planet that I hold closer to my heart than Wood Harris." Soon after Remember the Titans, Ryan Hurst landed more major Hollywood projects. For instance, he joined Mel Gibson in the action drama We Were Soldiers and starred alongside Julie Bowen in the romantic comedy Venus and Mars. He also took on more small-screen gigs, including his part on the short-lived series Wanted and his recurring guest role on Medium. Not long after that, Hurst got cast in the FX series Sons of Anarchy, which tells the story of a biker and his outlaw motorcycle club known as Sam Crow. On the show, Hurst portrayed Harry Opie Winston, the son of Sam Crow member Piermont Piney Winston, who becomes good friends with Sam Crow leader Jax Teller. Sons of Anarchy creator Kurt Sutter planned to kill off Opie in the first season, but FX became concerned that the show would suffer as a result. While speaking with What's Allen Watching in 2008, Sutter explained, "Ryan has that great vulnerability, and he was becoming a very sympathetic character that people were plugging into. The fear was if we off that guy from the jump, it would be hard to recover from." Much to fans' delight, Sutter confirmed that Hurst had already signed on to be a series regular. Unfortunately, Hurst couldn't stick around forever. Brutal murders were common in Sons of Anarchy throughout its 7-season run, but perhaps none of them were more heart-wrenching than Opie's demise early on in Season 5. In the episode Laying Pipe, Jax reveals to the Sons that one of them has to die in prison as part of their deal with villain Damon Pope. Before Jax can volunteer himself, Opie headbutts one of the prison guards, ensuring he'll make the ultimate sacrifice instead. Show creator Kurt Sutter first revealed Opie's death to Hurst in a phone call, and the actor was so devastated that he initially tried to change Sutter's mind. He told Entertainment Weekly, "I couldn't stop crying." The tears kept coming as Hurst and the rest of the cast did the table read for the episode later on. In the same interview, Jax actor Charlie Hunnam recalled that the show's stars cried for 45 minutes and were unable to go back to work after learning of Opie's fate. Meanwhile, Hurst's last day on set was made extra special with the presence of all his Sam Crow brothers off screen. As the actor shot his execution scene, he got to look at each of them one more time.
I got this.
Later on, Hunnam and co-star Mark Boone Jr. also helped Hurst move on from his character by ceremoniously removing his Opie beard with a samurai sword. When Hurst departed Sons of Anarchy, he was determined to keep going, but he also wanted to play someone very different from Opie. His next opportunity came in the form of TNT's King and Maxwell, a show about two former Secret Service agents who take on jobs as private eyes. Hurst was cast as Edgar Roy, a man with high-functioning autism who helps King and Maxwell with their cases. The actor originally planned to take a break after Sons of Anarchy, but as he told Collider, things worked out. This was just one of those roles. King and Maxwell only lasted for a single season, but Hurst didn't let that stop him. Just a couple of years later, he went on to join the cast of A&E's horror drama Bates Motel as ex-con Chick Hogan. At first, the actor was reluctant to take on the role because it seemed quite similar to others he had played in the past, but after a conversation with co-showrunner Kerry Aaron, he became inspired to make Chick his own. Ultimately, the actor decided to model his portrayal of the character on his former Sons of Anarchy co-star Mark Boone Jr. Around the same time, Hurst also starred in the crime drama Outsiders, playing the big mountain man Lil Foster Farrell. He also landed a recurring role on the crime drama Bosch as private investigator Hector Bonner. With Ryan Hurst's television career in full swing, he wanted to keep challenging himself. Just like he did before he got cast in Remember the Titans, Hurst had a premonition that he was supposed to be part of the Walking Dead universe. Naturally, he asked his agent and manager to make a call. Even though they explained to him that the show typically required talents to audition, the actor couldn't be dissuaded, insisting they contact the Walking Dead producers anyway. Months went by before Hurst eventually got the news he'd been waiting for. He recalled to Business Insider, "My agent calls me back and says, 'You're never gonna believe this, but they want to offer you a role on The Walking Dead.' And I said, 'You see?'" That's how Hurst ended up joining the Whisperers, a group of humans who use zombie disguises to survive amongst the walkers. Hurst was cast as Beta, the Whisperer who eventually becomes the group's leader after Alpha's violent death.
Respect the Alpha, or I end you where you stand.
The actor remained on the show until season 10, when Beta ended up getting fatally stabbed by Daryl Dixon. Hurst was less broken up about leaving The Walking Dead than he was with Sons of Anarchy, but he still would have enjoyed spending more time on set with Norman Reedus and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. As he put it, "Any time that Norman and Jeffrey are on screen together, I love watching that dynamic." Aside from continuing to pursue acting years after Remember the Titans, Ryan Hurst has also been pursuing another passion, yoga. As it turns out, the actor has been into yoga for years, practicing several forms of it: Ashtanga yoga, Iyengar yoga, Hatha, and hot yoga, before eventually making his way to Kundalini yoga, which is essentially where it all started. Hurst explained to Business Insider, "Kundalini is the mother of all yogas. It's the oldest form of yoga. It gave birth to every other modality of yoga. It's the fastest way to enlightenment, as they say." Hurst discovered Kundalini yoga after his celebrity pal Russell Brand introduced him to Tej of Nine Treasures yoga. Since then, the actor has been practicing Kundalini religiously, becoming a yoga teacher himself. Even when he's attending comic conventions, Hurst hosts Sunday morning yoga sessions.